Imagine getting pulled over, handed a ticket, and realizing you had no idea that law even existed. That is exactly what is happening to thousands of drivers across the United States right now. In April 2026, several new driving laws have officially gone into effect, and the fines attached to these laws are not small. We are talking hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, license suspensions, and in some cases, even criminal charges. These are not rumors. These are real enforced laws that are already catching drivers off guard on highways, city streets, and suburban roads all across the country. And the scary part is, most people have not even heard about them yet. Welcome back to DriveAuthority USA, the channel that keeps you informed, keeps you legal, and keeps you safe behind the wheel. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we cover everything you need to know as a driver in the United States. Today we are breaking down every single new driving law that came into effect in April 2026, what they mean for you, how much the fines are, and most importantly, how you can avoid them. So stay with us until the very end, because the last law we cover might be the one that saves you the most money. The first major change that every driver needs to know about involves hands-free driving laws. Several states have now moved to complete hands-free legislation, which means it is no longer just about texting while driving. If your phone is in your hand for any reason while your vehicle is in motion, you are breaking the law. This includes answering a call, changing a song, looking at GPS, or even just holding the device. States like Georgia, California, and New York have expanded their existing laws, and new states have joined them this April. The fines for a first offense in many of these states start at $250 and can climb to $500 or more for repeat violations. In some jurisdictions, a third offense can result in points on your license and mandatory driving school. The solution is simple. Mount your phone on a dashboard holder, set up your GPS before you start driving, and use Bluetooth or your car's built-in system for calls. Do not let a $200 fine be the reason you finally make the switch. The second law that is turning heads this April is the updated school zone speed enforcement policy. Across multiple states, automated speed cameras have now been installed in school zones, and they are not giving warnings. These cameras operate during school hours and in some districts during after-school programs as well. If you are caught going even 5 miles over the posted speed limit in a school zone, you will receive a citation in the mail. Fines begin at $150 but can reach up to $300 depending on how much over the limit you were traveling. What makes this particularly tricky is that many drivers do not realize school zone hours have been extended in their area. Always check local signage and slow down the moment you see that yellow school zone sign. Third on the list is the new electric vehicle lane regulation. As electric vehicles continue to grow in numbers across the United States, several states have introduced dedicated EV lanes and updated HOV lane rules specifically for electric vehicles. In April 2026, some states have changed the requirements for which electric vehicles qualify for HOV lane access, and driving in these lanes without meeting the updated criteria now comes with a fine of up to $400. Additionally, some highways now have EV-only charging lane zones near rest stops where combustion engine vehicles are strictly prohibited from stopping. If you drive a gas-powered vehicle and park in one of these zones, even briefly, you could be looking at a significant fine and possible towing fees. The fourth new law addresses street racing and reckless driving with dramatically increased penalties. Following a surge in street racing incidents over the past 2 years, several states passed legislation in early 2026 that officially took effect this April. The penalties are severe. A first-time reckless driving or street racing offense can now result in fines of up to $1,000, immediate vehicle impoundment, and a license suspension of up to 6 months. If you are a passenger in a vehicle involved in street racing, you can also face fines in certain states. Law enforcement has been given broader authority to pursue these cases aggressively, and prosecutors are being encouraged to push for the maximum penalties allowed. Fifth is a law that many people have overlooked completely, and that is the updated regulation around dash cameras and window obstructions. Several states have clarified and in some cases tightened their rules around what can be mounted on your windshield or hung from your rearview mirror. Dash cameras that are improperly positioned, large GPS units, or decorative items that obstruct your field of vision are now ticketable offenses. Fines range from $75 to $200 depending on the state and the severity of the obstruction. Make sure your dash cam is mounted low on the windshield and that nothing is dangling from your mirror that could block your sight lines. The sixth law is one that affects commercial drivers and rideshare operators specifically. New regulations now require rideshare drivers in several major cities to have updated vehicle inspections completed and documented within their app profiles. Uber and Lyft have updated their compliance requirements to match these city ordinances. Drivers who are found operating without the updated inspection documentation face fines and potential deactivation from the platform. For commercial truck drivers, updated logbook regulations tied to electronic logging devices have also been expanded, and failure to comply can result in fines starting at $500 per violation. The seventh and arguably most impactful new law for everyday drivers is the updated DUI threshold and drugged driving enforcement expansion. In April 2026, several states have lowered their tolerance for driving under the influence of certain substances and expanded their roadside testing capabilities. Law enforcement officers in these states are now equipped with advanced oral fluid testing kits that can detect multiple substances within minutes. The legal blood alcohol concentration limit remains at 0.08 in most states, but some states have moved to a stricter 0.05 limit, particularly for drivers under the age of 21. The consequences of a DUI in 2026 are more serious than ever. First-time offenders in strict states face fines of up to $2,000, mandatory ignition interlock device installation, license suspension of 6 to 12 months, and possible jail time. Do not risk it. Plan ahead, use a designated driver, or call a rideshare. The eighth new regulation covers bicycle and pedestrian right-of-way laws in urban areas. Several cities and states have passed legislation requiring vehicles to come to a complete stop, not just slow down, when a pedestrian or cyclist is in or entering a crosswalk or designated bike lane. Drivers who fail to yield completely can now be fined starting at $100 for a first offense and up to $300 for subsequent violations. Some jurisdictions are also implementing crosswalk camera enforcement similar to school zone cameras, so even if there is no officer present, you can still receive a citation. The ninth law targets improper use of emergency vehicle corridors. When emergency vehicles are approaching with lights and sirens, drivers are now required in most states to move to the right and come to a complete stop if safe to do so. Updated laws this April have increased fines for failing to yield to emergency vehicles to between $250 and $1,000 depending on the state. In cases where failure to yield results in an accident involving an emergency vehicle, criminal charges may apply. The 10th and final law we are covering today is the updated road debris liability regulation. If you are transporting materials in an open truck bed or trailer and debris falls onto the road and causes an accident or damage, you are now legally and financially responsible. Fines for improperly secured loads start at $500 and can go much higher if property damage or injury results. Always secure your cargo, use tie-downs, cover open loads, and double-check everything before you pull out of your driveway. That is a wrap on today's breakdown of the most important new driving laws hitting the United States in April 2026. The bottom line is simple. The roads are being policed more aggressively, the fines are heavier, and ignorance of the law is not an excuse that will hold up in court or at a ticket window. Stay informed, drive responsibly, and protect your wallet and your license. If this video helped you out, drop a like, share it with someone who drives, and make sure you are subscribed to DriveAuthority USA so you never miss an update like this one. Drive smart, drive safe, and we will see you in the next one.